Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Web Foundation's discussion series, Conversations. A small amount before I begin the session, while you can watch the session live on Facebook, a recorded version of the same will be available on our Twitter and LinkedIn accounts. Today, we will be discussing the importance of soft skills in a work environment and whether our students are equipped with such skills at the university level or not. Our first guest for today is Dr. Bilal Mirza. Dr. Bilal is currently serving as an associate professor of entrepreneurship and innovation at Iqra University, Islamabad campus. He has pursued a doctorate in innovation and development from the Maastricht University, Netherlands. Besides these engagements, Dr. Bilal is the founder of Startup Academy Private Limited, which is an entrepreneurship capacity building venture helping aspiring and active entrepreneurs to gain skills that can help them excel in their entrepreneurial journey. Thank you very much, Dr. Bilal, for joining us.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Faiza Abbas, who is Organizational Development and HR Specialist. Faiza has over 9 years of experience in recruitment, employee retention, training, and development. With a master's in human resource management, Faiza is currently working with Pakistan Medical Commission as their assistant manager, training and organizational development. Thanks to you, Faiza, as well for joining us.
Thank you.
And to represent our students, we have with us Anum Naseem, who is pursuing her bachelor's in biological sciences from ComScience, Islamabad. Anum was the first and the only Pakistani student who was selected by the National Institute of Genetics, Japan, for the summer research internship. Besides that, Anum is currently working as a global outreach student member at the American Society for Microbiology. I'm truly humbled to be joined by such a diverse panel, and without much delay, I would like to get straight into the discussion. Dr. Bilal, my first question would be from you, since you largely deal with curriculum development and academics. So when developing curriculum for a subject, are the requirements of the job market considered? And do you and your teachers focus on soft skills as well as the technical skills as well?
Thank you very much, Anum,
Over
first
to you,
of
Dr.
all,
Bilal.
for your introduction and the invitation. I'm really honored. Let me give you a brief historical background about this issue. I think because I have been teaching since last 17 years, and what we have seen throughout these years, that things have dramatically changed in last at least 7 to 8 years because of the strict interventions of Higher Education Commission and guidelines on curriculum development. So we have seen shift of entirely theoretical based curriculum from a theoretical based curriculum towards a practical based curriculum, which actually takes into account the job market requirements and then corporate sector's involvement, corporate sector's feedback. And definitely when we involve corporate sector at the university level, we have seen that there is a major requirement of soft skills. And what I have been witnessing across universities, because I have been representing and I have been working in business schools only, and business schools are one of those schools which are very much integrated with the corporate sector as compared to social sciences, as compared to probably IT school and so on. So as far as business school is concerned, yes, business school has transformed very much and have around about 30% of their curriculum focusing on the soft skills, especially the critical thinking part, which you have mentioned in your introduction also. So critical thinking has been one of the core areas of our soft skill focus. That is one side. Now, what has been done? This is what we have been talking about. This is what we have been trying to do at university level. But believe me, it's much difficult at the practical side. It's much easier to say it than actually doing it because of several reasons. The reasons vary from university to university. And if you talk about B category universities, we're not talking about the top-notch A category universities in our country. We're talking about the larger cadre of universities which are actually taking into account or offering students degree programs from, I think, diverse backgrounds. So if we talk about those B category universities, the challenge is much complex. The challenge is much difficult for us, because at A category university, what I would say that as an instructor, we do not face that much problems in soft skills. Students have their soft skills being kind of polished at their schools, at their A levels, O levels. But in B category universities, we see that there's a huge challenge of especially communication skills, presentation skills. I mean, you cannot imagine to talk about critical thinking because we are just stuck in the basics. We're not able to get the straight communication straight from those group of students which are having communication problems. So I think it depends what type of university you're talking about, what type of department you're talking about. At business schools, things have dramatically changed, and we are trying to still inculcate all those soft skills which we can. I think the basic sciences schools have their own issues. I mean, I have a basic sciences background. In my undergrad, I have done bachelor's in chemistry, botany, zoology, so I know things are much worse in those schools as compared to business schools and law schools. They are, I think, leading this soft skill race.
Thank you so much for the detailed response. I'll now move on to you, Faiza. And since you have been engaged with recruitment and organizational development and also human resource development, when selecting a candidate, how much value is given to soft skills like critical thinking, creative thinking, and collaboration, compassion? And do such skills actually outweigh the technical skills?
Well, Anum, it depends on position to position. If I talk about a fresh graduate who's looking for a job, and there's so many positions when we talk about business-related positions, as in, let's say, HR maybe, or maybe marketing, in the initial stage, they look forward towards soft skills. Whereas positions like Java developer or graphic designer, for those positions, they do look towards, they're more inclined towards technical skills. So technical skills overshadow soft skills. So it depends on position to position, certainly. And I do agree to what Dr. Bilal was talking about and whatever he has mentioned. But I also believe that nowadays there's some top-notch universities, while recruiting, they're only focused towards taking them on board, just because they know that they have the combination of soft and technical skills both. And it's really sad to know that there are a lot of students out there in various universities, and it's not their fault. It's not even the development of the curriculum. It's the teacher who has to teach these soft skills, because you can't learn soft skills just by reading books. Learning knowledge and learning skills, it's beyond the boundaries of classroom. So you need to engage, you need to collaborate. And I agree, all those things which you've mentioned, analytical thinking, critical thinking, everything, that is very important. In fact, I would like to also mention here that nowadays HR professionals have started to develop their interviews. The question interviews are developed in a way which are based on competencies. So they focus on business acumen, they focus on analytical skills, behavioral skills. So those questions are developed according to those competencies. It's not restricted to simple question that is the information which is already mentioned in a resume. So I think that a combination of both is important. But yes, yet again, it depends on position to position. If it's a high level position, then things are different. If it's a technical position, so of course, the requirement is completely different.
Thank you, Faiza. Now, moving on to Anum. Now, Anum, that you have already interned at several organizations and you have already entered the professional life in a way. Do you think that your university has prepared you in terms of technical as well as the soft skills for you to become a valuable human resource to your future organization or to the current organizations that you're interning with?
Firstly, becoming a valuable member to an organization honestly depends upon your own knowledge as well as the things that the university is giving you to learn. For me, and according to my experiences, my prior experiences, I have gained many valuable, significant research experiences that have made me eligible as well as a very good candidate for entering into a professional career. But many of the students out there, if I speak on behalf of the student body, especially those who are in the undergrad level and in their final years, many of us are not ready for a professional career. And mainly it is because some of us are lacking technical skills, some of us are lacking soft skills, as you discussed priorly. So the university also aids us in, learning and everything. But as Sir Bilal said, that it also depends upon the culture and also depends upon the environment of the organization. So the answer would be that no, I don't think so that majority of the students are ready for such careers. I am just fortunate enough that I have gained valuable experiences, but talking on behalf of those who are especially coming from a biological sciences sector, or those from a psychologically degrees, so those are, I don't think so that they're ready enough to step into a professional career as of now, because we need a lot of experience firstly, and also we need a lot of counseling, and that is lacking in our educational system.
And if you could elaborate a bit on the counseling bit, when you say counseling, what do you mean by that, and what kind of counseling is required by the students in particular?
Yeah, so the counseling I am referring to is like actually, telling a student that how you can do this, what you want to do, like answering the 5 W's, that how, why, where, what, when. So we do not know what our careers would be. We just haphazardly step into a field, and then later on we think that this might suit me or that might suit me, because we lack counseling. At the start of our education, in like those who are coming from an A level or O level background, they sometimes have an edge over us because they have a very good counseling. They know what they want to be. And in the FSC, or you can say in the typical board curriculum that we follow here in Pakistan, many of the students do not actually know what they want to be. They just haphazardly step into a field. So lack of counseling, lack of mentorship is actually the thing that basically makes us, vulnerable to not having good experiences. And as a result, we are not ready for stepping into a professional career. While at the same time, many other students coming from a top-notch university, they are very easily getting into a good organization or a good company because they know what they want to be, because they have prior counseling.
May I add something here, Anum?
Yes, please go ahead.
I agree with what Anam was saying, that you also know this, that in many universities students are they're started professionally developed from O levels, from their ninth grade. And it's very unfortunate for students in ninth and 10th metric SSC. They don't have counselors there who are actually helping them out, guiding them how to prepare for the university application, which is indirectly helping them towards professionally growing themselves, developing themselves for later on professional life. So I guess she's right about it, that majority of the population are from those schools who do not have counselors, who do not have placement officers, and even universities who do have placement officers, I guess they're not guided properly. When we see our job description, there is this soft skills area, which is more usually ignored by many applicants. They cannot reflect upon their competencies in a way that, do they actually have a good communication skill, are they good at written and oral communication both, there are they good at leadership, are they good at collaborative work. So these are some of the things which are supposed to be taught from an early stage, and sometimes it becomes very late, and they end up in a lost situation where they don't know what they lack, which is why they're not professionally growing. So she's right about it, they need such support from the beginning.
Thank you for the input, Faiza. And since Faiza mentioned collaboration, so Dr. Bilal, I would like to ask you that when it comes to collaboration, how are students taught collaboration at a university level? Yes, there is this debate of A levels versus HSSC, or matric versus O levels. But when we look at things at the university levels, how are students taught collaborations, and what kind of and do these collaborative effort, do they yield different results? What do you have to say about that?
So before responding to the question, Anum, I would like to also add a few points which are mentioned by Anum and Pfizer. I think they have really touched the pulse of the problem. The pulse of the problem is that the universities are considered as the panacea of all the problems which the student has aggregated, accumulated from number of years. So I think the burden on the university becomes too big to handle. So we at university, as a university professor, had so many things to handle and in a classroom of 3 hours a week, that sometimes we are not able to handle it. I mean, very frankly, mentioning this at this platform, I think, as Pfizer has mentioned, this is a thing which has to be done not only at the university level, but also in the schools, in the colleges, where there should be counseling sessions, where should be counseling centers, where students are being guided what they should do in the future, what they should do in their career, what should they do in their education. The problem which Anum has very rightly mentioned is that we are, as a student, we follow the discovery approach. We join a course and then we start to discover whether we like it or not, whether we have the passion for it or not, whether we can continue working on this, let's say, biosciences or genetic sciences or chemistry. As I took the wrong, I made the wrong choice myself. And then I suddenly figured out when I completed my bachelor's in chemistry that I am not fit for this field. I should go into business studies. And believe me, I started excelling when I joined business studies. I scored much better grades in my business studies as compared to my previous education. So the discovery approach cost me a lot. It costed somehow my number of years. So sadly this has been done. I mean, 25 years ago, I was witness of it. I experienced it, and even now, students of Anum's class or Anum's group are still experiencing it. And this is the sad part. I think this is the most saddest part of the entire education structure which we have developed during these years. What you're mentioning about the collaboration in the university, yes, we do have collaborative activities. And again, the problem is that the component of the collaborative activity is not enough to inculcate those skills which we want in our mature students, mature adults. As I mentioned, this has to be done at the school level, this has to be done at the college level, and then gradually we should, as a university professor, we should have something to work upon. I mean, we are given a group, we are given a cohort which is just a barren individual, and then we are expected to do a lot of work on it. This is, I think, too much on our side. This is probably not going to work for a very long time. We have to also focus on our education system at the university level, but we also have to also tweak our school and college level education so that we can have individuals which we can focus upon at the university level. For instance, at the business schools, at the law schools, we do have case study methodologies. We do follow collaborative research work. We follow collaborative project work. We follow field works. So students are expected to do some certain things on which they are assessed based on their group activities, not on their individual activities. But again, they are not enough. I mean, probably apart from my business subjects like strategic management, which I teach, entrepreneurship I teach, there are hardly other subjects, especially in the curriculum of world history, which we have to teach to our business graduates. I'm sure Anna must have taken courses on world history and other courses which are directly not having any impact on her bachelor's degree in biosciences. So probably they are not being taken as we take in our classrooms, in our business classrooms. So I think the problem is quite complex, which we have to handle at the university level, and this has to be taken care of at the lowest levels, especially at the school, and then gradually giving them freedom at the college and university level.
So much, Dr. Bilal. Now, Faiza, Dr. Bilal mentioned collaboration, collaborative effort, and how they try to inculcate these skills at the university level, despite despite the lacking that occurs or that exists at the students coming, in the students coming from different education backgrounds. Coming back to the recruitment process and the requirements of a job, we often see job advertisements with keywords like team players, people person, collaboration, and team effort, and all of that. How could that, A, what do you mean by a team player? And B, how can that be taught at the university or a college or at a school level?
So, Anna, what I believe is that team player, the meaning behind this word is to actively contribute to their group in order to complete a task or any project that is given. So this is something which is not only taught in university. In fact, when there's a child who's playing, even at that time, they're taught how to be a team player during collaborative tasks. Because what I believe is that working in groups help you to learn a lot. And if we talk about team player, it comprises of a lot of things. Comprises of respect, empathy, being patient, being a good listener. So these are some of the things that are taught to you. And if you respect all these aspects, then I guess you become a good team player. So these things can be analyzed during interviews through different scenario based questions that are asked by the interviewer. And such things can also be taught during universities when different groups are made. Some professors, they may devise a group according to their choice. They do not give this authority to the students to make a feasible group of their friends. Even if they're in this even if the group is of their friends, even at that time, I believe that they do learn how to become a team player. And I guess nowadays students are learning through project based learning. And project based learning gives them a chance to do a task and then learn. So it's not only just reading text, it's by doing it. So I guess being a team player is something that is taught from the beginning. University gives you a kickstart, but they're being developed over the period of time. They can't learn being a team player over 3 or 4 years. So I agree. It all comes back to the beginning. The university is a place where I guess they're more focused towards learning technical skills, probably how to do job analysis, how to develop JDs, but how to conduct interviews, being soft, being good at communication, being a good listener, being a good co-worker, respecting each other's ideas. These all things makes you a good team player. Being an active listener. So the product or the process at hand, involving all these things, you become a good team player.
Okay, thank you, Faiza. And now coming towards Anum. Anum, like Dr. Bilal and Faiza mentioned some of the like key skills that are needed to kind of excel in an environment, being as like collaboration, being a team player, being compassionate, being a good listener. Do you feel that during your time at university, you were taught like some of these skills directly or indirectly? And when you entered the professional life while interning with different organizations, did you develop these skills over time, or was this something that was taught at the university through your peers, through the teachers? What has your experience been?
These are the things that I learned over time. It was not a 1 day process or a 1 month process. With experiences, I gained all of these, skills basically. And these are these are the things that are not actually taught at our universities. Honestly, we are uh, studying many diverse courses, but those courses are not actually teaching us the main essence of the skills that we actually require in a practical field. For example, in our university, there's a course of entrepreneurship that is mandatory for all of the students to study. But for example, us being a biology students, we actually do not know how we will use entrepreneurship in our life because we do not have the practical, knowledge of it. We are taught from the textbooks, and we are very, restricted to activities of the book, of the knowledge of the concepts and the laws that are already, taught at like every university. So the thing is that we do not know how to practically convert our knowledge, our theoretical knowledge, into tangible things. So we honestly do not know how to, conduct these things in a company or in an organization. So this is why we lack these skills, because we know the technical things, we know the knowledge, we have the theory, we have everything, but then we lack the basic, things to convert those knowledge into the things that the company is requiring from you. For example, I'm a biology student. So in the labs, we learn that we have to extract DNA from a sample. But we know how to extract. We have a whole 3 page, module for it. We know how to do it. But unless the day I do it, actually, I do it with my hands, I take it out, I would never ever learn it, because Those are the things that when you actually do it with your hands, you always remember those things. So the essence of the courses of like entrepreneurship, report writing, English comprehension and composition, these are the things that we actually get bored of because we have been studying these for so long, but we do not know the actually the purpose behind these things.
Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Um, Dr. Bilal, now I would talk particularly from like a professional or a business or an employment perspective. There's this word or a term that we hear a lot, which is professional ethics, and people and recruiters often complain that these new students or the new law, they do not really have ample professional ethics to kind of excel or work in a professional environment. Do you think that such ethics should be taught at the university level or or in an educational institute, or is this something that the corporate environment teaches them once they enter the job market?
I think it's a university's responsibility. It's not the corporate sector's responsibility. First thing. I'll also add what Anum has mentioned about the entrepreneurship course, because that's very close to my heart. And I think the blame goes to your teacher who is not able to actually sell the course rightly to biosciences student. So there's always a reason behind an entrepreneurship course. I mean, for a biology student or for an engineering student, and the reason is, of course, commercial reasons. I mean, you can set up your business at any time and start selling something, I mean, forensic lab, and start selling your genetic reports to the criminal or the criminal control or law enforcement agencies. Jokes apart, I think there are two parts of your question, Anam. The first part is about the curriculum on professional ethics per se, which has to be taught in all the degree programs, including business, including law, social sciences, and biosciences, and all others. Yes, at university level, we have been doing this for last 4 to 5 years, because again, it was mandated by the Higher Education Commission, who actually forced the universities to put these courses, for example, business ethics, social responsibility, corporate social responsibility, as a formal course in our degree programs. So we are doing, and I'm sure ComSets and all other universities are also doing it. The other part of the story is a bit more interesting, because we as a teacher, as an instructor in the classroom, also have to take our responsibility when we are teaching, for instance, mathematics, when we're teaching accounting and finance. This is also the university professors' integral component of their teaching, that they have to inculcate to the students what is the importance of professional ethics. For example, when you are having accounting course, when you're having a finance course, when you're having entrepreneurship course or marketing course, it has been my somehow personal responsibility. I have taken this as my personal responsibility, that I am going to force my students to also understand what branding has to do with the negative aspects in the society. I mean, it also has to be taught to our students, especially to the management students, to the entrepreneurship students, that how important is to understand what negative ills the branding has also somehow pushed in the society. So this is, I think, more important to me, that I, being a teacher of any subject, should also teach my students that how important this professional ethics is. The last part of your question is whether this has to be done at the corporate sector. I think they should not take any chance for an individual, for a student, a graduate who is lacking professional ethics. I would say a big no. I mean, for example, I had lots of examples whom I personally give references to the corporate sector, that this individual is going to come and meet you at 11 a.m. For example, if I tell Faiza that this individual is coming to meet you at 11 a.m. and Pfizer would call me at 11 or 10, 11 or 5, that the individual has not shown up. And I have done this personally and asked the students that why you didn't show up, and the person is sleeping at home and he is not interested, and he didn't even bother to tell the corporate, the HR representative, that he is not interested in the job probably. So I mean, these kind of ethics are big no. I think The corporate sector should actually say no to these kind of individuals, and rest should be left to the society, left to the market, that these kind of individuals and the lack of professional ethics will filter out them in the long run.
Thank you, Dr. Bilal, and that takes me straight to you, Faiza. Since you deal with recruiting new employees, right? And we often hear that like the new employees, they have this habit of, let's say, job hopping, and they somehow lack professional ethics. Since you've been working in the sector for a very long time, do you feel that such practices are now more redundant than before? And how often do you face such issues? I'm talking about the present scenario. And if you do face these issues, what are some of the HR practices that are in place to kind of mitigate these problems?
Anam, I agree with what Dr. Bilal was saying. There are a lot of candidates whom we come across and they do lack professional ethics. And I believe this is something which is naturally taught in universities as well. Meeting deadlines, coming to the class on time. If they're not coming, what are the consequences that they will be facing? Unfortunately, in corporate sector, or fortunately, there is no going back. If you're not on time, you have to face consequences. Whereas in universities, if you're coming late, the professors or the teachers, they have this leniency. They let them come in the class, attend the class, and so on and so forth. Meeting deadlines is also, whereas when we talk about corporate sector, there is no flexibility over there. You're supposed to be punctual, you're supposed to meet the deadlines. You're coming for an interview, you have to dress up properly, regardless whether it's a cool environment like Google, or it's a public sector where you're supposed to come in a three-piece suit. That is something which you have to respect. And professional ethics is something, I even when I was in university, when we were supposed to give presentations, we were supposed to come in a proper dress code. Our shoes were supposed to be proper, jeans and t-shirt was not allowed. And then we had to present. So these were the things which were indirectly teaching, were being taught to us how to be ethically, professionally ethical. So I guess, a strong work ethics are reflected by the student in the beginning, and then that also reflects on during your job as well. And if I talk about, when hopping from one job to another, that is something that is completely different. I guess not letting your employer know that you're leaving the job and abruptly leaving your job, that is something which I think is not professionally ethically right. However, if you're informing them and then leaving the job, that is different. But yes, working as per the values that are given by the organization, and then following all the rules, regardless of anything. And then also, I what I believe is that they need to aim high. They need to show patience, because they have this mindset, they have these things in their mind and expectations that we will be in in a place where we'll have our own system, everything will be there. Things don't work like that. You have to be prepared with a lot of things that might come up front. You might not have a system. Probably on the first day you might not even have a task, or probably when you're coming on the first day, there's so much to do that there's no one to teach you. So you need to professionally, ethically work hard, be patient, demonstrate a strong character, which is very important. Be cooperative to your co-workers. And if you're doing this from the university with your friends, with your classmates, I guess then you're being very respectful at your work resources as well. So I guess this is, of course, this is being taught in universities. I do believe this. But if someone is not learning, that is a separate thing. And unfortunately, there are a lot of candidates who do not even take those interviews seriously, because probably they're coming because of some reference. And then there's so many candidates out there who are desperate, in a dire need to be on a job, to find a job, because they're career oriented, because they want to support their family. And unfortunately, they're not given a chance. So there's a lot of gap in it. And I guess professional ethics is something which they have to regard no matter what.
Thank you for the elaborate response, Faiza. Now, Anum, you have interned with several national and international organizations both, right? So as a student intern, what have you learned from these organizations in terms of working in a professional environment? And has there been any differences when it comes to working with a national organization as opposed to working with an international organization? What has your experience been?
My experience has been so far been very good, and the things that I have learned that there were major differences between a national and an international organization. There is somewhat a little flexibility in the national organization because you know that the place is nearby you. You know there is a professor who knows you, so there are a lot of differences there. And secondly, in an international organization, they do not know you, so you have to come up to their expectations in a way that you do not in any way harm the environment or in any way have a negative impact over yourself, so that the image doesn't get disturbed. So another difference that I think also comes is because at the national level, we are a little flexible in the sense that if we do not have prior knowledge of a thing, we are okay with it, and we take time to learn it. But in an international organization, as I said, that there are some expectations, so you have to be very careful and you have to do your homework on time. That is the most important thing, because if they see that you are not capable for a position, they have 20 more candidates for that same position. So yes, there are many differences in this term, and the main things that I've learned from my experiences is that I have to be patient for a thing in order to achieve it. I cannot just expect to have, gain a major significant experience just 1 or 2 months. I have to have my homework first. I have to build my knowledge first. I should know how to network. That is the most important thing. I should know, as a student, I should know how to email my professors correctly. That is very important, because sometimes some professors do not like to reply you back, and that is because you made some grammatical mistake, or that is because you were not being respectful to them. So these are the things that I've learned through my experiences. And another thing to add is that in an international organization, you have done a lot of effort and hard work to reach at that place, so you should be very careful of not compromising that position in any way. So you have to work like triple time, like you have to work triple hard work. You have to do your work very much as compared to a national organization.
Okay, and so one of the keywords that I picked up from your conversation or from your response was networking.
Yeah.
How would you suggest students should network, and what are the avenues? How can they build more connections in order to, of course, land better jobs or internship opportunities? Do you have any suggestions in that regard? If you could share with our viewers.
Yeah, I have. First is that you should know that the field you are coming from, you have to find the people related to that field. And the most important thing is to connecting to the alumni network. Alumni help you a lot in this regard, because they have the prior experience that you are actually wanting. So connecting to the alumni first, asking for their experiences, asking for the problems that they faced is very important, because you learn from it. After that, it is very important to also approach the professors, the teachers that you want to work with, or the managers that you want to work with. And the thing that Sir Bilal said, that you have to be very careful that you are messaging them not like on 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. and going in their office without having an appointment. So these are the things that you have to be very careful as a student. If somebody is giving you their time, you owe them at least the respect and the decency to show up at a very good time. You have to be dressed nice. You have to know what you want to talk about. You do not want to take 30 minutes of somebody. You just take 10 to 15 minutes and you just tell the purpose behind the meeting. And another thing that is very important is that when you know that you are going to somebody's office, you should be prepared for everything. You should be prepared for the questions they might ask. You should be prepared for the things that they actually are not expecting. So the thing is that you have to do your homework. And then there also another thing, that if you're going through a reference, you have to at least have the decency to tell them that I came through this reference, because many of the students who do not have references and their company assumes that they are left behind because of that thing. And majority of the students, especially from a medical sector, from a biological sciences sector, we do not have many contacts or references in hospitals or government organizations. So if you have a reference, then you should be like, respectful of that, and you should at least tell the other person that you are coming from this reference.
Anum, I'd like to add something over here.
Sure.
If we talk about networking, I guess job fairs play a big role, a major
Yeah.
role over there. You need to present yourself because you're a brand, and you need to present yourself in a way that the interviewers or the people who are coming from different organizations, you you impact their mind, as in they should know, they should get attracted to your professional skills. Secondly, I guess they should start developing their LinkedIn profiles from the beginning,
Yeah.
from right now, and start connecting with people related to their field. Look for the join the organization's pages and show your presence on the LinkedIn page. I guess that is the small step which will actually give a huge impact in your professional networking path as well.
Thank you very much, Faiza and Anam. I'm sure the students listening to us would benefit from I hope they benefit from these points. And I think LinkedIn has really upped the game in terms of looking for jobs and building a network. And that's definitely a blessing for the students of this generation, that they can seamlessly build their online network and look for the right opportunities that would help them further their career. Now, moving on to entrepreneurship and innovation, Dr. Bilal, I would like to ask you that creative thinking is one of the most important C's of 21st century education, and creative thinking is also the main ingredient when it comes to innovation. How do you ensure that students, like your students at the university level, they think creatively, or they are given enough opportunities to think creatively so that they can become tomorrow's entrepreneurs and innovators and problem solvers?
I think that's the most challenging part for us. I mean, to inculcate creative thinking. In my course, we have a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of strategies to deploy to build their creative thinking, and then get something which is making commercial sense, business idea, for instance. But there are a lot of courses, even in the business school, and I mean, we're not talking about other schools. Even in the business school, there are lots of courses that actually do not focus on the creative aspect of their thought process. So the challenge is not across the university. Challenge is in the business school and those kind of social sciences departments, which actually are the hub of the creative thought process, and then coming up with something which is unique and which is valuable to the society and the market. So if I talk about my particular course, entrepreneurship, yes, we have group think strategy. We have teams which are interdisciplinary in nature. I don't know about ComSets. I have taught there once, I think twice in 2013, 14, 15. I remember the course, the class size was just 40 students at one point of time. In our university, we have got more than 150 students at one point of time. We have big classrooms. Once I also taught at GIK. They also had more than 170 students in one hall, and I was teaching entrepreneurship there. In such big groups, there's a lot of room of have to build up their creative thinking process. The only burden on the teacher side is that you have to be more energetic, you have to be more innovative, you have to be more creative as well to build up those thought process and out of box thinking. In smaller classrooms, the challenge becomes double-edged, because at one side you have less students who can collaborate. They have same backgrounds. All of them are business school students, and on the other side, the plus point is that you're dealing with a small group. You're not having your teaching assistants there, and you can focus very rightly on a very small group and get what you want from that group. In the bigger classrooms, I have seen this thing happening more smoothly if I want creative thinking process, out of box thinking, especially when we are mixing up fashion students, we're mixing up engineering students, IT students with business students and basic sciences students together and coming up with something unique. In my classrooms, when I build teams, I never allow friends to come in one team. And I think somebody mentioned that there should be this freedom. I don't allow that. I do not allow two brothers, two sisters coming in one team. They have to have a team which is interdisciplinary in nature. They have to have a mixed team. The boys have to work with the girls, and the girls have to work with boys, so that they also develop those soft skills which are essential when they're working in the corporate sector. I mean, the boys, I have to admit, the boys lack that relationship understanding, the ethical understanding of how to work with the other side, with the other genders. So we also try to build these things. Yes, at times we're not able to achieve what we want. I mean, it's a very complex thing, and I think expecting us to do or to achieve something which is very difficult, creative thinking, which is very difficult in 4 months, is too much to ask for, I think. So it has to go through the 4-year degree program, and at least I think if you as an instructor, you are able to do this thing in 4 to 6 courses, you'll be able to polish them much better for the corporate sector or for the entrepreneurship, the venture which they plan, in a much better way as compared to something which I, as a single teacher, doing it in a group of, I think, 45 subjects, which I think they are being taught in one degree program. So we have to do it in a collective manner. Otherwise, we'll not be able to achieve this from the instructor point of view.
Thank you for the response. Now, Faiza, along the similar lines, in a corporate settings, new employees, they feel they are getting bogged down by these redundant work practices, and they have to follow certain guidelines and all of that. And they often complain that their creativity kind of, it wears off eventually. Do companies make any efforts to kind of mitigate or prevent such instances? And what are some of the HR practices that are in place that kind of take care of this issue?
Well, Anum, then again, it depends on company to company. If I talk about public sector, then if creativity is something that we as an employee can barely, explore creativity, or he or she is given a space or a framework where they can, do things as per what they think is right. Especially people with young minds, with coming freshly from universities, they are so motivated and they would want to do different things as per their way, with a very creative mindset. But unfortunately, companies have their own values, and their own mission and vision statement, according to which they try to mold them, and they somehow the creativity does not stay there anymore. Either the student or the candidate, he leaves the job, or they stay there and they're not doing the things as per their choice. But then there are some companies, the telecom sectors, they give you a chance to do things as per your creativity level. They're celebrated with the help of reward systems, and they cherish their work. So it depends to company to company. If I say, there are 9 to 5 working hours are also there, implemented in a lot of working environments, especially in banking sector, in public sector. However, in other corporate sector, I guess there is a lot of flexibility in working hours now. You do not have to be in the boundaries of an office to work. You can be at any place. You just have to have an internet connection and work as per your choice. Now students who are freshly coming, they're so bold, and they're so they ask for their JDs, they see what's written in it, and they try to work as per their JDs. If something is given to them besides their JD, they do question. So I guess we still have some corporate sets, organizations, where creativity is not available. Then people are not given liberty to work creatively. But then there are some organizations where we are given the liberty to work creatively. So it's a mix. And I guess it's working somehow, but unfortunately, it's not giving the students or the employees a chance to professionally develop themselves, to enjoy their work. They've become robots. They go to work, they get burnout, and then they start thinking of giving a gap, taking a gap in their professional career. Some do not even have that choice to do so. They start looking for jobs internationally, to move out of the country, and they have some bad experiences. So this is how it is. And इससे what happens is the word of mouth, they do not talk good about the company they're working in. And they do not give their full potential to the work that is given to them. So I guess you need to give that space to the employees. And I guess there are a lot of companies who are not working on it, which is very unfortunate. But then there are some who have developed. I won't name any company, but there are some very big names, companies even in Islamabad, who allow employees to explore their creativity in relevant, interesting, and worthwhile ways. So we should value creativity because we learn by doing. So I guess we need to remove these constraints for to become creative employee.
Faiza and rightly pointed out. Now, Anam, coming back to you, you are a biosciences student, right? And yours is the kind of field that requires a lot of critical and creative thinking. Do you feel in the workplace or at the university, you were given enough freedom to express yourself or make use of your critical thinking? If you could share your experiences with the panel and with the viewers, of course.
Yes, in my university time, I've been given opportunities to express my creativity in some projects, some assignments. So it all depends upon actually two things. It is first the kind of assignments or the tasks were given by the professor. Sometimes the professors actually constrain you to textbooks, and they do not give you assignments that actually want to explore your creativity or that do not think out of the box. And the second thing is that the kind of organization, the kind of environment you're working in, sometimes you want to explore the options, you want to explore the new things, but you do not have enough resources to do that. So it depends upon the kind of instructions that you are given and the kind of instruction where at the place you are given. And the last thing is that if you're self-motivated, you have the capability to do those things, then there's nothing that can stop you. Whether it is the bad assignment, a bad project, or a bad environment. If you are self-motivated, then you find the way that find alternate ways to do things. If, for example, in my experience, there were some projects that actually made us very happy with how the professor has given us. For example, we had to make a documentary on child abuse, for example. Then we had to do a survey-based questionnaire that is actually also part of my thesis now. So these are the things that actually makes us happy because we are doing a different thing that we have not done priorly. And these are the things that are actually helping us in learn new things that will be implemented in our future organizations and company. So yeah, in my experiences, yes, the university do aids in getting out of the box and doing the new things, exploring new things. And at the same time, there are some limitations as well. So that depends entirely upon the field and the kind of teachers you have.
Thank you very much, Anam. So we are nearing the end of the conversation, and as the last concluding question, I would request you all one by one to kind of present your recommendations or any tips for the students who would be watching our sessions as to how they can work on networking or their professional, technical, and soft skills, and B, kind of improve themselves to become tomorrow's problem solvers and innovators, and also valuable assets to the organization that they would be working for in the future. I would start from Dr. Bilal, then we'll move on to Faiza, and then Anum, you would share some tips with us. So over to you, Dr. Bilal.
Sorry. I'll just stress upon the need of focusing on the soft skills. I believe in business students, there can be a compromise on the technical skills. There can be. Probably in the IT school, in the basic sciences, probably there might be this might be a big question mark. In business schools, we can compromise on the technical side of graduates, on the technical side of the students, but I think there should be no compromise on the soft skills. They are the most essential make or break kind of components, which has to be very well spread out, very well told to those graduates or to be graduates that this is something which is going to give you a job or even get you fired from the company. So be very clear on this. I think the most important advice, which I also give to my class students, is that don't shy upon getting failed. So the classroom is the lab, which is actually helping you to make experiments and get failed. As the instructor, I do not discourage my students to get a lousy idea on the stage and get feedback on it. So nobody's going to scold you, nobody's going to shame you. Be courageful to mention it to the audience and get the right feedback. In the corporate sector, nobody's going to bother about your background. Nobody's going to care about whether you have a job or not. They'll just straight away fire you if you are going to make a mistake. If the mistake is going to cost you, you also have to pay them. So I try to tell my students that this is a lab which helps you to discover your weak points, pain points, and let's start working on it. Second most important advice which I give to my student is that don't try to shy upon investing in yourself. Invest to build your soft skills. For example, communication skills, especially communicating in English. I mean, whether we agree or not, we admit or not, speaking English in the corporate environment makes a huge difference if you're going in the job market. If you're talking about your own venture, things are different. But if you're planning to do a job, planning to be a corporate sector employee, this is going to make or break your chances of getting through. So the second important thing is to have presentation skills, presenting yourself, presenting your case, presenting your resume, presenting your CV. This has to be very well, clearly, I mean, spelled out. I think LinkedIn has, I would also agree to Anum, what she has mentioned, and also Faiza. LinkedIn has played a huge part. I think if it was in my era, if it was in my time, probably things would have different. So I think you guys are lucky enough to have these kind of professional networks, which actually enables you to get hooked up to somebody who can help you out, who can hold your hand, hold your finger, and just get through the job market. So that's all I think I stress upon in my classroom, and I also stress in this live session to the audience that this is something which you should not shy upon. Invest in yourself, try to embrace your failures, and try to work upon them. Nobody is perfect.
Over to you, Faiza.
Okay, what I think is I do agree to Dr. Bilal. Being an HR professional, I'll focus towards how to present yourself as a candidate. So I guess you need to develop a very strong LinkedIn profile, make a top-notch cover letter, make a very good resume. It should not be lengthy. It should be very precise. When you're looking at any job description, do not ignore the skills portion. When you're going up for an interview, talk about those skills, try to inculcate those in your conversations, because that brings a lot of impact. Study the organization before going for an interview, see what their value is, see what their mission and vision is, because that is going to help. They will get very impressed by the fact that you've studied about the organization. Be prepared for your interviews. If you are, no matter regardless of what profession you are, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are an HR professional, or if you're from biochemistry, go and see LinkedIn profiles of these respective disciplines, see how they've made their LinkedIn profiles, and start connecting with them. Show your presence on that medium, because it's a very strong. I have been approached by various recruiters. My current job, I found that job through LinkedIn. The recruiter approached me. It was just because of the strong profile that I had developed. You need to brand yourself, be very confident, be very flexible, keep your expectations low initially during your job, and be open to do anything that is asked by you. Try to utilize the time during your summer vacations, do internships, do different projects, showcase them in your resume. Keep on updating. And one last tip I'd like to share is that update your skills. Do not ignore the fact that something you've learned in 2019, you have to redevelop it. Reflect on yourself, reflect on your soft skills, your technical skills both. And I guess you need to showcase good personality attribute when it comes to appearing for an interview. Be on time, be confident, and be punctual. These 3-4 things will help you a lot in your career development.
Thank you very much, Faiza. Your turn, Anum.
Okay, so my advice to all the students would be to, make the most out of this time. We have plenty of time to do many things, to do volunteer things, internships, part-time jobs. So it is very necessary to have, experiences at an undergrad level in order to have a good job later on. And second would be to not give up easily. We often see a rejection and we give up very easily. If I have gotten to an international organization, there were like 20 rejections behind that. So the thing is to not give up and just go with the flow and do the best that you can. And the last thing that would be to make your LinkedIn profiles at a very early stage, start networking and learn from the things that you had priorly that you made mistakes of. It is okay to fail sometimes. It is better to communicate to your professor, to your teacher, and learn it. Instead of running away from it, we should learn it, and um, we should have the capabilities to believe in ourselves, to do the things that we want to achieve higher, to aim higher. So yes, this would be my advice to all the students out there.
Thank you so much, Anam. And we are on the dot. And on this promising note, I'll end today's session. I would like to thank our guests for their valuable insights, and to the viewers, thank you for joining us. I hope to see you all next week. Allah Hafiz and have a great weekend. Thank you very much, everyone.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz, thank you.